Hello, good day. Today we're going to look at taking some notes related to graphing a line. On this page, you can see some notes, these 4 bullet points: slope-intercept form, point-slope form, standard form, and the slope formula. These are all tools we're going to be using throughout the class to graph straight lines. In these notes, we're going to focus on slope-intercept form and standard form. I've already written mine, so go ahead and pause the video and record these notes and your notes so we can continue on with the first example. All right, hopefully you got all these notes down now. Let's take a look at our first example. We're going to follow a 4-step process to graph a straight line using the slope-intercept form. One thing we got to check for is our first step. We're always going to check to see, is our line in slope-intercept form? Does it look like y equals mx plus b? If it doesn't, we may have 1 or 2 steps to change it before we can continue. So example 1, part A, graphing this equation in slope-intercept form. We're going to do our first step. We're going to check, does this line look like y equals mx plus b? So we're checking to see, does it look like this? And I can see that y is by itself. It is set equal to some number times x, and it's plus or minus another number. So it does look like this. I have y equals, here's my m right here. Here's my x plus, even though it's minus, it can be like plus a negative. This is my b right here. So it's in y equals mx plus b. So we can go through our other 3 steps. First step, we're going to identify the y-intercept. So if it's in slope-intercept form, b equals our y-intercept. In this case, b is -1. Now to plot our y-intercept, we have to realize that this is a coordinate pair. Our y-intercept is always going to be on the y-axis. So the coordinate pair is 0, -1. And we can plot this point right here. Next thing we have to do is identify the slope. Since it's in y equals mx plus b, my slope is right here. The slope is -2/3. And we can use the idea of rise over run to plot more points on our line. So our rise is down 2. So from our y-intercept, I'm going to go down 2 units, 1, 2, and our run is 3. So then I'm going to go to the right because it's a +3, going to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3. And there's my next point on the line. I can continue this pattern, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, to find more points on our line. Going back to the y-intercept, I can reverse the pattern. I can go up 2 and to the left 3, up 2 and to the left 3, up 2 and to the left 3, to continue the pattern in the opposite direction. And the reason that works is because if I chose any of these 2 points going from left to right, the slope is the same. We're still going down 2 and to the right 3. So the pattern is the same between all the points on the line. Last step, all we have to do is connect them in a straight line. And at the end, we do want to put arrowheads on the end of our line because that indicates that it continues forever. So these little arrowheads on the end are kind of important. They tell us the line goes forever. And yeah, we graphed a straight line in slope-intercept form. Let's look at part B. So doing the same thing again, we're being asked to graph 6y equals 3x plus 6. Step 1, we're going to check, does it look like y equals mx plus b? So I have an mx plus b here, but my y is not by itself. This equation is not in slope-intercept form yet because we have this 6y. So we have one step we need to do first. We need to get y by itself so that it's in slope-intercept form. And we're going to do this by using our solving skills for multi-step equations. Now we only have one step here. On the left side, I want to get y by itself. I'm going to divide by 6. And if I divide the left side by 6, I have to do the same thing to the right side. 6 divided by 6 on the left side. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So we have y by itself. On the right side, I have two terms, 3x plus 6. They're separated by this plus symbol. So I have to divide the first term by 6 and the second term by 6. 3 divided by 6 is 1/2. So I have 1/2 x plus 6 divided by 6 is 1. So our y is by itself, and now I can see my m and my b are right there. So now it's in y equals mx plus b. The y-intercept is 1. So to plot the y-intercept, I have the point 0, 1. So here's my y-intercept. Identify the slope. The slope is my m value. In this case, m equals 1/2. And again, we can use the idea of rise over run to find more points on our line. So here, my rise is up 1, my run is over 2. So from our y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1 unit, and I'm going to go to the right 2 units. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and continue the pattern that way. Going back to the y-intercept, I can reverse it. I can go down 1 and to the left 2, down 1 and to the left 2, and continue the pattern that way. Last thing we need to do is connect all our points with a line. Put an arrowhead on each end. And there is our line. Okay, so I did the first two examples, graphing a line in slope-intercept form, parts A and B. I want you to try part C on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and try part C at this time. Okay, hopefully you've tried part C on your own, and this is what I got. So here's example C. If you completed this one on your own, please check your work. Our first step, we had to put it into y equals mx plus b. It was not in slope-intercept form, so I divided both sides by 8. We have y equals negative 1/4 x plus 2. Our b value, the y-intercept was 2, so that was the point 0.02. Our slope, m equals negative 1/4. So after putting the y-intercept on the graph, we can go down 1 and over 4, down 1 over 4 to find points on our line. And that's what it should look like for part C. All right. So the second type of equation we're going to look at today is standard form. And standard form is just another way to write a linear equation. Standard form looks like this. AX plus BX equals C. And the key to standard form, instead of identifying the slope, we're just going to identify the y-intercept, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. They're going to let us graph the line. So check out the second video for examples in standard form.